What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Stocks by the Numbers. Today I wanted to take a quick look at a Bitcoin mining company that we checked out last time. We called it back here. It was around June. The stock was in the low fours. Then it had an absolute run north of 7.5. Numbers came out, and as you see here, they were much more profitable than Wall Street expected, coming in just shy on the revenue side, but revenue growing quarter over quarter, year over year. Name of the company we're talking about, CleanSpark Incorporated, ticker symbol CLSK. Here on the NASDAQ, stock $4.57 right now, down 30 cents, a little over 6% here on the day. And basically, right now, we're seeing a market cap of right around $500 million. And in my opinion, that is pretty undervalued for this situation. Again, it was higher and it was lower than this current price. It was down in the threes and whatnot. But, you know, just like it came down here in the low fours and then it had that pop up, I think we may have something similar taking place right here. And it looks like the stock right now is kind of in this descending wedge, and we could have a potential pop out. I know Bitcoin has been selling off as well, so now, you know, potentially with a reversal in Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin going back up, obviously they're going to bring the miners like CleanSpark back up with it as well. But also, more importantly, the company has, I think, broken ground, started working on one of their new facilities here. Also, some positives here is that, as you see here, you get a price target increase from 10 to 11, and here from 12 to 14. This is on August 10th and 11th, and the company posted earnings August 9th, right? So after, right? So, but my point is, like, they brought the stock down, kind of, right? You had the initial pop, and then they just kind of immediately sold it off lower than where it was before they reported earnings. And you can say, oh yeah, that's because they missed on revenue. However, after seeing that they missed on revenue, again, 2 days later, people still came out and increased their price target on the company because, again, really a stock is supposed to be slightly overvalued than its current business value, I guess, so to speak, because it's supposed to be trading like a little bit on future business, on future revenue, on future earnings. So that's why, like, maybe 1 or 2 quarters ago I can understand, the high threes, the low fours. Here, I really don't get it, especially if you look at just the highlights from the revenue. Which one was I looking at? I think it was this one. Yeah, the exahashes, that's what that stands for. The exahash rate per second. And obviously, the higher that is, the better it is, and apparently the more efficient it is and the more revenue that they generate. So as you see here, August 9th, record revenue for the quarter, $45.5 million. Current cash and Bitcoin holdings of $125 million. And there you go. Their target, 16 per second, now fully funded. Reports operating hash rate over 9 per second, tripling hash rate year over year. So really everything minus the slight miss of 100,000 and change on the revenue for the quarter. Minus that, everything we're seeing here with CleanSpark is pretty positive. And again, we had that pop up into the 6s, into the 7s, and not only do I think it can happen again, but apparently based on the trajectory overall that we're seeing for this business, we can even see further and higher than that. This company, moving forward, it may take a couple of quarters for everyone to kind of jump in, and of course you're going to need the price of Bitcoin to go up a little bit as well to kind of help out the value of the stock. But overall, just talking about the business, unless Bitcoin has a massive sell-off, this stock should technically really be climbing higher, and inside of a few quarters could find itself at a point where it's stably maintaining like the high single digits, low single digits. So it may find its new bottom, its new support at, the 8s, the 9s, or potentially something like a $10.5, $11. It really could get that high, in my opinion, especially since there's very, very low liabilities on this company's balance sheet. But, they're talking here, I have over 90 million in cash, holding 1,200 Bitcoins on our balance sheet. Long-standing track record, more than sufficient capital to fund our remaining contractual payments on miners and construction to achieve our 16 per second goal. Like the flexibility of our balance sheet, we have all the pieces in place, boom, 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 and now here you go, as you see here for the quarter, $45.5 million, good increase from the same period the year before. But also, it's the balance sheet that looks so appealing, in my opinion, right? So they're holding you got some millions in cash, you got millions in Bitcoin, holding 52 million in current assets, right? And then they have the mining assets, over 400 million, boom, 650 million, right? And supposedly, the higher the equity of the company, okay? Supposedly, the higher the equity of the company that it's holding on its balance sheet, the more the shares should be trading higher. Okay? Because that means assets have increased and liabilities have decreased. But also at the same time, even if they both increase, it's the difference, because that's the equation. It's, total assets minus liabilities, and that yields your equity. So that's why you always want to try to see assets outweighing liabilities, so that technically there is positive stockholder equity. But as you see here, holding over 650 million in assets with less than 50 million in liabilities. So the total stockholders' equity right now is a touch over 600 million. And we just looked at it before. Currently, the company has a market cap of 515 million. So a situation like this, in my opinion, I think the juice is worth the squeeze and the risk is worth the reward, because even here in the short term, even if they want to pull it back to like the high threes here inside of the next couple of weeks or whatever the heck they may plan on doing, even if they bring it down to like 370, 380, yeah, again, it's going to suck in the long term, in the short term, which does kind of happen pretty frequently. I'm sure you can appreciate that. We'll step into a situation, you'll think it's the right time to buy, you buy some shares, then all of a sudden the son of a bitch just keeps selling off, keeps going lower, and you're immediately down, and now you got to deal with this bullshit and this stress, and you got to wait for the frickin' bounce and the comeback and the reversal. Now you need the momentum to come back in. I believe me, I totally understand. So I can appreciate the fact, if you're holding my feet to the fire here, saying that it may not be the exact pinpoint perfect price to step in and start buying. But again, if I was more of a long-term investor, and even a trader actually, if I stepped in here at 460 and you're telling me I could potentially drop down to like 420 or 410 before going up, I'd take that risk, honestly. I would take that risk. Because again, going from a $500 million market cap, and let's just say we just match that, you're talking about a 20% move from here, right, which is about a 0.15, which would bring our stock to 575 a share. And right now we're at 460. So I could, right, hypothetically, if I was to step in, I could potentially have a position that may go down before it goes up, but chances are it's probably going to go up. And more importantly, if I wanted to play it for the long term, then seeing, again, nothing is guaranteed, but in my eyes, it seems like it definitely will go up, in my opinion. I am, I'd say 90-95% high conviction on this company, just based on the numbers we're seeing. But this is very positive. This is very positive. So looking at the chart here, we could see, again, this may potentially happen tomorrow, maybe around midday. But we could see, maybe you can see, 4.5 or potentially below that. Here, when it gapped up and we were following this channel when we looked at it before it had the breakout, you can see the high on this candle, again, top of the screen, the O, the H, the L, the C. That is the open, the high, the low, the close. As you see there, the high, 443, right? So that's what I'm saying. We could potentially drop down a handful of cents more. And again, it may suck in the short term, but I really do think even in the short term, after it would have that drop down, it will probably most likely immediately start to bounce because, again, in my opinion, even here at 460, the stock could be viewed as tremendously undervalued. So really, for any reason, this thing could pop like 10% tomorrow and just get above $5 just because it's supposed to be. And believe it or not, a situation like that are the kind of stocks that you want to look for. Again, that's basically discount investing. Looking at a situation like a CleanSpark saying, yeah, realistically, conservatively, this is worth at least $5.50, $6 a share, let's say. And right now, it's at $4.59, and even better, it's down today, right? 5.75%, almost 6%. So you're buying it at even more of a discount than you may have bought it, a day or two ago. So usually, I used to do that rule too when I did options, especially when I was doing shorter term, like weekly options, really rolling the dice. Like a situation like this, like if I was watching CleanSpark and wanted to buy calls, and now I see it in this downtrend, and now right here at the tightening here, I'm seeing boom another 5.5-6% drop here on the day. Now with it down a chunk, you buy the calls because they're even cheaper than they were yesterday because the stock took a hit today. And vice versa. If you have a company that you feel is overvalued and the stock is up 3% for no reason, that's when you buy the puts, because now the puts are costing you less than they did a day or two before. So that's why I always have these sayings like take what the market gives you, try not to force yourself in trades, right? And again, it might be worth it to step in here and just start piling in some calls. And if it does happen to drop down in the next couple of days or the next week or two, then of course you can, average down and do it that way as well. But, just remember, you're never going to catch the high, you're never going to catch the low. So just look for the right opportunities and just begin piecing your way in, taking the positions that, again, you have pretty high conviction in. And if you're going to step in on this one, in my opinion, if you're going to do options as opposed to shares, then try to buy yourself some time. Don't try to do it, but rolling the dice tomorrow looking for the pop, or even like next Friday. Buy yourself some time. Believe me, it's worth the money. It's worth the money, because what it does is it eliminates the stress from any potential sell-offs or any volatility that you may run into. But okay, going back to this. So again, the high on this candle here before the pop was 443, right? So hypothetically, that could be our low here. If we stretch out 1 year on the chart, again, if they really want to beat it up, they could bring it down here to this fib again, 417. I just really don't think it should. But again, if I was piecing my way into this stock, and let's just say, the whole time I said, oh, I'll buy it as long as it's under 5, like that's what I mean. A day like today, I would probably add to the position. If I turn around in a few days or a week and a half, 2 weeks from now, and the stock's down at 420, 415, yeah, again, I have a couple of bucks. It's still below 5. I'm going to add to the position. I don't care that it's down now because it's going to be up soon. But I really do think it's not going to go much lower. And here I wanted to show you guys on stock charts here. You can see the RSI starting to approach that low benchmark, sitting here at about 37 1/3. And may potentially go lower. That's why I'm saying it could potentially drop down to sub 4.5 and just kind of hang out for a little bit and then kind of have that bounce. But look at the MACD, just completely fell off. The lowest really we've seen going all the way back to beginning of March, which coincidentally is where the stock bounced and then absolutely went on a tear, going from a little over $2 to north of 7.5. So that's why I'm saying this is why I'm bringing this one to your attention, because we made a pretty decent call with it last time, and now it's kind of cooled off. But, the company's still improving itself and still becoming more efficient and is now generating more revenue here than it was here and here and here. So, this is why we look for these opportunities, and we look for the companies that are growing, that are generating more revenue, that now are selling off, and we can try to step in and slide in and get that cheaper price and buy it for a discount. But here also the bottom Bollinger Band 439, so that's why I'm saying again, could have the pullback to like 440 maybe. Switching over here to the weekly, RSI sitting just below 50, so could kind of go either way. We did break this mid Bollinger Band 482, but it was on a pretty big uptrend, so that's why now it may like flatten out and then kind of like curl up again. I don't think we're going to see 354. If we do, that would be a tremendous buying opportunity, in my opinion. It does look like the MACD is potentially starting to cross there on the weekly, but, rising for basically 2 years straight. So, again, you do have to take like the bad with the good, and, we know that stocks just can't always go up every day. So, it is what it is, and if you do have consistent income, you could buy the dips, of course, and add to the position. If you don't, hey, again, it looks like the company is doing all the right things, so just hang on, and chances are it will be good. You had the pivot point here at 590 again, which it looked like it bounced around and did not hold and came back down, but you could see here, basically it just broke that support line if you were to draw it out along the bottom of those candles. So I understand why, they chunked it down again, but really shouldn't go too much lower. And here again, look at our next support level here, 436, right? So that's what I'm saying. They could bring the RSI down to 30, slightly sub 30, chunk it down again, sell it off to 435, 440, and then potentially have that bounce. I really don't see it. Really shouldn't break and go down to this 200-day moving average of 363. And again, on the weekly was 354. That's what I mean, 360, 350. I think that would be an extreme overreaction. Here it's just buying it at a discount. If it drops down to like sub 4, I would definitely be all over it. But like I say, in my opinion, I would definitely take on this small potential risk in the short term for the long-term reward. So support level 436, and just to double check again, the Bollinger Band before I let you go, bottom Bollinger Band 439, right? So that's what I'm saying. Could have potentially about a 20 cent in change drop from here, which is roughly like 5-6% down from here. But in my opinion, overall, CleanSpark seems to be rolling on all cylinders, doing everything they have to do. And again, with a company like this, all you have to do is give it some time, and it usually really pays off for you. And I'll end it there. So once again, this is Stocks by the Numbers. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop it down in the comments section. I'm usually very quick to reply. Thumbs up, algorithm, helps me get more eyes on the channel. Share the video. And more importantly, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. That is our handshake agreement. I will do updates on the small cap stocks like the Soundhounds, the CleanSparks here. We'll talk about larger cap companies, like Campbell's, and we looked at, Amazon and all of these other companies in the past. And I'll even throw out some short-term call-outs in the Discord. Shout out to the guys in the Discord. We've been making some very nice calls here today, and we've had some calls over the last couple of weeks that are now coming to fruition. And this is why when I talk about buying options, you're better off just buying yourself some time, paying those couple extra dollars, because if we have high conviction in a situation, then hey, one day it's going to work out, right? Hopefully. But again, that's our handshake agreement. I'll do all that for you. All I ask, push the subscribe button. That is how you help me help you. But more importantly, like I always say, moving forward, I understand that markets are rocky and volatile and very uncertain. So I want to wish all of you success. Hope everyone makes a couple of bucks. I want to thank you for stopping by. I'll catch you guys in the next one.